Holiday?
Yeah.
Hello and welcome to this pre-show. We have somebody joining in from a cruise ship in the middle of the sea in Singapore. Imagine what IPL can do. Prantik Mazumdar, welcome. Joydeep Mukherjee smile says it all. Now flights have also started from Calcutta. So we envy you. The least you can do is if you can get a yacht for yourself, at least fly us down and put us in that cruise ship. That's the least Prantik Mazumdar can do as public demand. Anyway, on the show, Joydeep Mukherjee, Prantik Mazumdar, Devashish Sen, and of course Abhijit Deshmukh. Plenty to talk about. Chennai Super Kings versus the Punjab Kings. Chennai 2-2, both losses. What's happening? Ravindra Jadeja, is he captain? Is MS Dhoni still calling the shots? Is he trying to groom Jaddu? Because a lot was said about the fact that Dhoni and Bravo were discussing. Jadeja was fielding at the boundary line during that game against the Lucknow Super Giants. Obviously, Chennai is a team with pedigree and they will come back. But let me take that first question to Joydeep. Joydeep, is Jadeja feeling the pressure? What exactly is happening? Is it still evolving time? Do you think it will be a period before which the baton really passes? Your thoughts on Chennai captaincy?
No, I don't think Ravindra Jadeja is feeling the pressure at all. I feel this is a nice 3-year course that he's signed up for. Not one of those 14-day crash courses that we get to see. Like Boria, you've been to all these big universities and done these long courses over a couple of years, stayed at the Oxford. It's a bit like that. So what is happening is because Ravindra Jadeja has not ever captained since under-19 Saurashtra, which was back in the day. So this is a grooming time for him. This is not going to be overnight. Mahendra Singh Dhoni is not going to give up his captaincy in a day or two, but he feels that going forward, and this franchise is as much his as is anybody else's, and he will be with this franchise once he stops playing as well. So he's getting the next guy ready. Now, how long that will take, nobody knows. That's the reason why he's got him back in the fold. He's in the mix, but this is not a crash course. So Ravindra Jadeja will still be captain, and as he sees Dhoni and the others do their bit, he will learn. So this will take some time, and then only the baton will be passed. It's not an overnight one.
Okay, let me break the important news. CSK has won the toss and elected to field first, as is the norm in this particular IPL. Devashish Sen, thoughts on that? And if you have the teams, give us the teams.
Yeah, I still don't have the teams, Boria, but I guess that the Punjab are giving 2 debuts to Vaibhav Arora, the far right hand batsman and fast bowler from Himachal Pradesh, and Jitesh Sharma. He's a wicket keeper. So one would assume that Johnny Bairstow might not be available. I don't know yet because I don't have the teams in front of me. If
I
Jitesh
have the
Sharma is
teams, may
playing,
I?
Yeah, go
I
ahead.
have the teams, may I?
Please,
Read them out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, the Punjab Kings is Mayank Agarwal, Shikhar Dhawan, Bharat Rajapaksa, Liam Livingston, Shah Rukh Khan, Jitesh Sharma, Odion Smith, Rahul Chahar, Kagiso Rabada, Arshdeep Singh, and Vaibhav Arora. And for Chennai Super Kings, it's Robin Uthappa, Rituraj Gaikwad, Moeen Ali, Ambati Raidu, Ravindra Jadeja, MS Dhoni, Shivam Dube, Dwayne Bravo, Dwayne Pretorius, Chris Jordan, and Mukesh Chaudhary.
So Chris Jordan comes in for the Chennai Super Kings. Important because bowl at the death. That is what the problem was. Prantik Mazumdar, if I can come to you, how important is that death bowling? Because Mukesh Chaudhary went for runs, Shivam Dube went for runs. Automatically, the pressure was on. Moment Bravo was done and Pretorius was done, they could not control the run flow. But Chris Jordan will help. Prantik.
No, absolutely. I mean, the biggest challenge with CSK has been the bowling. I think I'm in a way happy. I mean, obviously, looking forward to Johnny Bairstow. I'm sure he would have been part of many a fantasy league. But I think Odion Smith, seeing him there, I think batting, bowling. I think I wish Veda was here. She's a massive fan of Odion Smith. But I think you're absolutely right. I think having Jordan more as a bowler who can bat, I think is massive. But still, if I look at the two teams, I think bowling is a department where I think Punjab would probably would come up tops compared to this CSK attack. I think that's my personal take. That I think with a Rabada, with a Chahar, etc. I think that attack seems far stronger batting wise, and these two teams can on their day score or chase 200 plus. But I think let's hope Chris Jordan can make that difference with the slower bowlers, the off cutters as well. apart from whatever extra precious runs he can score.
Okay, lots of people have tweeted asking me for fantasy teams. What we will do from today is days I'm there on the show, I will give my fantasy team towards the very end of our show. So I will put that out. I will mention my fantasy team here on screen. So whatever helps, if you get a little bit of help from that, do that. Our head of production has asked me to read out the teams again. So here it is. Before I go to Abhijit Deshmukh and Ruturaj Gaikwad. Robin Uthappa, Ruturaj Gaikwad, Moeen Ali, Shivam Dube, Ambati Raidu, Ravindra Jadeja skipper, Mahendra Singh Dhoni, Dwayne Pretorius, Dwayne Bravo, Chris Jordan and Mukesh Chaudhary. Punjab, Mayank Agarwal, Shikhar Dhawan, Bhanuka Rajapaksa, Liam Livingston, Shahrukh Khan, audience with Jitesh Sharma, Rahul Chahar, Kagiso Rabada, Ashdeep Singh and Vaibhav Arora. Abhijit Deshmukh, Ruturaj Gaikwad not scoring. Problem for CSK? Concern there or it's still too early for you?
I think it's a bit early. He just not performed well in the first two matches. He was the orange cap holder for the last edition. I think he'll definitely bounce back. It takes time for even a perform, and because I think he has performed so well in the last season, that's why the expectation is so high. He was retained by CSK. That's the pressure. Sometimes it gets to big players as well. I think Ruturaj is still, a grooving player. But I think as the tournament goes on, he'll definitely, back in his form and plays well for CSK.
Okay. Joydeep, let me ask you a technical one. Why is it that Liam Livingston fires so well in England so far, at least in the couple of seasons, hasn't been able to do much in the IPL? Your thoughts on Liam Livingston? They broke their bank for him, 11 plus crores. Your thoughts on Liam Livingston?
Yeah, just before coming to Liam Livingston, just on Abhijit Deshmukh, Abhijit, what he said, taking a cue from that. What's happening with Ruturaj Gaikwad is when there are no expectations, like he said, it's easier. Now the expectations come, and also they now sort of know where they bowl to him. That's number two in his second successful season. And the third thing is that your bowling is not as strong as it was. So now, as a batter, as a batting unit, you might feel that you need to get 25 runs more than what is par. That the converse can also happen when your batting is weak, then the bowlers feel that you got to get teams out at 140, 150. So that can often impact the batters or the bowlers. Just a little point on that. Yeah, Liam
Very
Livingston,
good point.
I'm a huge fan of his. Yeah, I'm a huge fan of Liam Livingston, but I still feel he needs one big innings to get going. A lot of players, when they come with the expectations, they're too keen to do in the IPL. They know this is the mother of all T20 leagues, which is the reason why when they come, they're too keen to do well with the bat, with the ball. And sometimes he's playing shots which are even beyond him. That can happen. It's happened to me. Just to impress somebody, I was trying to bat more than what I could. And then a quiet tap on the shoulder and says, just do your bit. Just stay in your syllabus. I still remember these words. Stay in your syllabus. So if you stay in your syllabus, he will ultimately come good. He has, as it is, a huge range. I can understand somebody with a little small range trying to go beyond that, but his range is already a big one and he's trying to go beyond that. So I think he either needs to just pipe down a little bit till he gets to about 30, 35, get a start, or he plays one innings where he is a blistering knock, and that will put him on track.
Devashish Sen, if I can come to you on two players, two very important players, one each from either side. Your thoughts on Moeen Ali and Bhanuka Rajapaksa. Bhanuka Rajapaksa has been a revolution so far for the Punjab Kings.
Yeah, he opens up that option for Punjab Kings because he means batting up the order. If he can give a blazing start, which was the case in previous matches, so that sets the tone for the Punjab Kings innings. So you need someone because Shikhar Dhawan, if you have noticed last two matches, he hadn't been in the best of forms. Obviously, we know Shikhar Dhawan is a great batsman, especially in the IPL, scoring frequently almost 600 runs almost every season. But then you need someone that X factor at the top who can just play his long handle and score some quick runs, utilize those power play, and Bhanuka Rajapaksa fits in that role perfectly for Punjab Kings. So that's and coming back to Moeen Ali, obviously he will have a bigger role to play as far as Chennai Super Kings is concerned because as Prantik mentioned at the start of the show, that bowling of Chennai Super Kings has been the weak link. If you look at the bowling of obviously Chris Jordan, with Chris Jordan coming in, he will lend that balance to that squad, because particularly the death overs, Chennai Super Kings can look up to him. But Moeen Ali has a major role to play for Chennai Super Kings. If Chennai Super Kings, because he comes in at number 3, very key position, so he needs to shield the innings. I mean, because we all know that he's a good player against spin bowling. So if he stays there for say towards the 15th, 16th over, then I mean batters can play around Moeen Ali, because you have someone like Ravindra Jadeja coming in towards later, we all know and then Dhoni as a finisher. So Moeen Ali needs to be there till the end.
Okay, Prantik, a slightly different question. Bhanuka Rajapaksha, we've already seen a Mahela Jayawardene tweet today about what is going on in Sri Lanka. When you are playing, when you know that things are not in order back home, what this is a kind of a psychology question. What according to you must be going through this man's mind? Mind you, mate, for everyone watching, our hearts go out for the people in Sri Lanka. Yes, we know that the things have gone wrong, but we just hope things get right, because it's not fair on any of these people who have to go out there and play when things aren't right at home. Prantik.
No, I can speak a little bit from personal anecdote at home. Our helper happens to be from Sri Lanka. I can tell you, when she watches a IPL game, every time, I mean, she watched Bhanuka play well. Every time she watches a Sri Lankan batsman or bowler, her heart, fills with pride, because it's been about 3 years that she hasn't gone back home because of COVID, and now she's obviously extremely perturbed and worried about the economic situation back home. So I think from a fan perspective, it obviously has a huge uplifting moment. It kind of reminds me, and I'm sure this is weighing on every Sri Lankan player. They want to do their bit as a professional sports person, that what is in your control is to play well for your country, uplift the mood, and you never know where this can kind of that's the little bit that you can do as a player, right? You're playing for you're not really playing for your country, but at the same time, you're an ambassador of your country and the sport that you represent and play. So I think it is a hugely important, I'm sure, emotional moments for a lot of players, for their families back home. And I think it also kind of reminds me, when I look back, someone like a Sachin, for example, right, after the Mumbai blast, the way the innings that he played in Chennai, and to every fan, obviously he played a master innings. I think these little moments can go a long way in ensuring that the nation's mood and the positivity, especially when you're going through a economic crisis of the nature that Sri Lanka is going through, I think it can have a huge impact. So I wish every Sri Lankan player in the IPL circuit that hopefully they can focus on the cricket, go out there and express themselves, and I'm sure the Sri Lankan audience, not just in Sri Lanka but the diaspora as well, will genuinely appreciate this.
I'm glad we were able to touch this topic, because this is something, sport is always a larger story, the macro story of sport. It is not simply, the IPL is not simply cricket that is going on. There's an economy of the IPL. There is a story of India, a story of soft power. That is what we were talking about as far as Sri Lanka is concerned. Through sport, it's an opiate of the masses. If we are able to alleviate people's suffering for even 1 minute, something would have been done. Abhijit Deshmukh, is Odean Smith batting too low down the order for you?
I think he's probably okay, because right now, if you see the team, I think Mayank Agarwal, Shikhar Dhawan, Raj Paksha, Liam Stone, Shah Rukh Khan. I think the key player will be Shah Rukh Khan. So I think the position for the Odean Smith, I think it's okay, but sometimes just to check the opponent's bowling lineup, I'm not really surprised. Like if he goes on to play maybe at number 3 spot, I think that could be one of the things that Punjab can try out if things are not going on there.
Okay. Jaideep, important question. Yuzvendra Chahal, Kuldeep Yadav. Rather, let's focus on leggies. Yuzvendra Chahal, Rahul Chahar, and Ravi Bishnoi. Over to you.
Yajuvendra Chahal is a seasoned campaigner. We know what he can do. He's played international cricket for a long time. He knows once you play any level of cricket, once you get there, there's also a sense of belonging. Whether it's school cricket, club cricket, state cricket, zone cricket, rest of India cricket, India A cricket now, and then international cricket. So there's always a sense of belonging when you get there. One thing is getting there, and then you having a stability, saying that okay, I belong here, I'm good enough, I can survive this level. So Yuzvendra Chahal has done the international level. For the ammunition that the other two have, I have a lot of time for Rahul Chahal. I think Ravi Bishnoi also has to learn a few things. He has to learn to bowl slow. The other day we saw him under the gun, he gets quicker, which is what the batters love. Tewati the other day feasted on him and he lost his plot a bit. So I think what he needs to learn is his leg spin has to spin. I have not seen any leg spin of his spin. He's got the straight one, he's got a superb googly. But if I as a batter know that this guy doesn't have a leg spin, I'll play him like an off spinner. So you're taking one huge ammunition out of your game. So I think he has to develop his leg spin. That will only come when he starts bowling slower. Anil Kumble, I played him before he had the rotator cuff injury, and he couldn't. His leg spin also didn't turn unless the wicket was a minefield. But once he started bowling slower, he was a different bowler altogether. So that's how the development happens. He's young, he'll learn. But right now, I love the way Rahul Chahar bowls. I think they missed a trick the other day when they had Russell going all guns blazing. They went defensive to him. If I was captain, I would have gone and told him, go and toss it up in the air, turn it against him. We get this guy out, we win the game. Because after that, there was just Sunil Narayan, who's not huge at the back. He's superb in the beginning. Then they had Saudi and Umesh and Varun. So with these four later, 50 runs in hand, I would back my team to win the game. But what they did was they got defensive. He was bowling back of a length, not to get hit, getting cut, pulled. Yuzvendra Chahal would have come and tossed it up, got it for one or two sixes, but would have got him out. And that was the game for me. So I feel right now, Rahul Chahar, the amount of what he has in his repertoire is superb.
Devashish, Ravindra Jadeja bowling just 1 over, captaincy. I mean, we've always seen, with captains, you either underbowl or you sort of put pressure on yourself. Are you seeing that at all? Joydeep says no pressure on Jaddu, but 1 over from Ravindra Jadeja, was it a kind of, he was not able to rotate the bowlers, that's why 1 over? Because Ravindra Jadeja bowling 1 over was quite something in the other game. And because he was not able to fit.
Yeah, just no pressure on Jadeja as a captain is what I said.
Captain. Okay, so so your thoughts on Ravindra Jadeja as a bowler, because
Absolutely,
he clearly needs to get his 4 overs in.
I would also feel so that Jadeja needs to bowl out his full quota of 4 overs, because definitely we know for India he invariably gives you those 4 overs. Means that is the reason he's been a regular in the Indian T20 side in white ball format also. And so I think maybe he's under bowling himself because he's a bit concerned and I think I might differ from the seniors. I think the expectancy to do well as a captain means you have someone like a Mahendra Singh Dhoni. We all know the legacy he has set for Chennai Super Kings.
That's a very good point. That's a very good point you make. You might differ, but Prantik, very important point that when you try and fit yourself in the boots of MS Dhoni, and the first match we saw Jaddu kind of not expressing himself as a batter, then under-bowling himself as a bowler. Your thoughts on Jadeja before I go to Joydeep again?
Yeah, I think I'm in the camp where I feel, there is, at least as a fan, there is a marked difference in Jaddu's cricket, the way he's approaching it. The batting shows, the fact that he didn't bowl. There could be other reasons. Also, I feel, assuming Dhoni had completely retired and Dhoni was not on the field, there would still be pressure, the legacy pressure that Debashi spoke about, but it's different. You're the sole king on the field. I personally, whatever little cricket that I've played, I think if I have that gentleman on the field, I think it would be even harder for me because there's a constant reminder that that hero of mine is still on the field. I would probably second guess myself as I'm going through that 3-year course that Joydeep mentioned. So I think that pressure definitely is weighing on him, but I hope he, in a couple of other games, he can come out of that because he is too critical a player, an all-rounder. Because also, given that lack of spin options for Chennai, his 4 overs are critical, whether it's to, block runs or whether it's to play an attacking role. So I think that pressure is showing to me, across the 2 different roles, batting and bowling for now.
Abhijit Deshmukh, on the same note, before I go to Joydeep for his comments, I mean, Ravindra Jadeja, when I compare with Shreya Iyer, very little captaincy experience except in 2006 for Saurashtra. KL Rahul again has captaincy experience. You can say Hardik Pandya. But from compared to the others, Ravindra Jadeja does not have that kind of captaincy experience. Is that going to impact Ravindra Jadeja at least in the starting phase of the IPL? You think,
Yeah, I think it's a pretty
Abhijit?
difficult task to. Yeah, uh, can you hear me?
Yeah, go on.
Yeah, it's a difficult task to get into the shoes of MS Dhoni. I mean, he has a wonderful legacy. Everyone is aware of it. So it will take some time. I think because he's going to be the CSK leader for at least a couple of seasons. That's what the plan looks like. And these are the initial matches. I think he can test all the players. He can see, which bowler fits in. Because as the tournament sets in, that's where the team is completely set. Jadeja will have the complete idea. Okay, this bowler I can use at depth over in the middle overs. And he's Jadeja, and he can bowl at any time of the game. He knows what's his strength and all. I think as the tournament progresses, we will see some good decisions that will win. I think it's just a moment of some time where we will see CSK wins, and Jadeja actually back on the winning mode.
Joydeep, closing comments from you. Two questions.
Yeah,
One on Jaddu, same one, and then
yeah,
what does
yeah,
CSK need to do today?
yeah. I think with all humility, I feel that
Is there an internet issue there? I lost you there,
No,
Joydeep, sound
he's
wise.
on mute, I think.
He's on mute, I think.
Yeah.
Joydeep, can you switch on your sound? We've lost your picture also.
Maybe he's logging in.
Oops. Okay, let Joydeep re-log in. I'll quickly give you my fantasy team. I'm actually going in with a 6-5 Punjab team as my fantasy 11. So I've got Bhanuka Rajapaksha to keep. I've got Shikhar Dhawan, Mayank Agarwal both there. I've got Ruturaj Gaikwad. I'm going in a toss-up with Robin Uthappa. I have him in one of my teams. Then in the middle, I've got a Moeen Ali and a Dwayne Pretorius. And then in my bowling attack, I've got a Rahul Chahar, I've got a Kagiso Rabada, and there's Joydeep back. And the last spot is a bit of a toss-up. I've got Dwayne Bravo in my squad as well. So that's the thing. Captain, I've got Moeen Ali captain in one of my fantasy teams, and for the other, I've actually gone in with Mayank Agarwal. So Moeen Ali and Mayank Agarwal is what I've gone with for captain and vice captain. So that's my fantasy side. Enjoy the closing comments. The two questions I asked you. Joydeep, Ravindra Jadeja, and what does Chennai need to do? Can you not hear me?
Can't hear you.
Oops. You might need to relog in. Yeah. So there's an audio issue there with Joydeep. Maybe we'll sort of get him back for the post-match show. The Ravindra Jadeja mystery as far as Joydeep remains. Prantik, your internet held up. So clearly we are going to the cruise for the final. You're paying for all of us. So that's where we
Yes,
are.
if KKR wins, party's on me.
Hello? Trisha Ghoshal, please record this clip. If KKR makes the final, the show is happening from the cruise ship in Singapore. Prantik Mazumdar is paying. Venki Mysore, you have an ardent Singaporean fan. And I will now ensure that KKR makes the final from the heart. Our prayers are with KKR because all of us need to get to that cruise ship. Anyway, jokes apart, match about to start. All the very best to both teams. MS Dhoni's side, 2-2 losses. Feel for him. On the other side, Mayank Agarwal will. Joydeep, can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear. Sorry
Yeah,
about that.
quickly. 1 minute. You've got 1 minute. Ravindra Jadeja, and what does Chennai need to do?
Yeah, I just felt that Chennai has not hit the straps as yet, so they're not playing well, and you never count a team when they're playing badly. Number one. Number two is none of the finger spinners in the tournament have done well. The wickets have been conducive for fast bowlers, so none of the finger spinners have done well consistently. So I feel that Ravindra Jadeja, yes, he is feeling the heat. He's bound to. Size 26 shoes of Dhoni's, nobody can fill in. But at the end of the day, I would rather want him in the ground, knowing that I can go and speak to him, or he will take over the mantle if the heat really gets going. So I would rather want him on the ground. So I differ slightly on that.
Okay. So Joydeep missed the point that Prantik promised if KKR makes the final show is from the cruise ship in Singapore. Joydeep, point to be noted. Make a mark on your diary. So that's one
I'm
reason.
always in, I'm always in purple anyway, and and he doesn't have to pay for, a taxi fare to the airport. Rest all he can take care of.
Wow, so kind of you guys.
Prantik will hire the yacht as far as this entire
Done.
Rev Sports
If
team is
KKR
concerned.
wins.
Brilliant. I'm going to make changes to my fantasy team. I've got Johnny Base to let me make that change. Thank you very much for watching, ladies and gentlemen. Back with you after the match. Thank you very much once again.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.